5 world titles, a national hero status, and 30 years at the very top. Raymond van Barneveld seemed to have it all, but behind the scenes, constant travel left entire years of family life slipping away, marriages unraveling, and a gnawing guilt building. That guilt would finally explode the night his wife faced a loaded gun and he was 200 miles away throwing darts. This is the true price of greatness. What happened next would haunt him forever. Born in The Hague in 1967, Raymond van Barneveld grew up far from the bright lights of Alexandra Palace. At 17, he was still delivering mail in the rain, squeezing darts practice into the quiet hours after work. The world of darts was about to change, and so was his life. By 1998, a Dutch postman stood on the stage at Lakeside, lifting his first BDO World Championship trophy. He was not finished. He won again in 1999, then twice more in 2003 and 2005, collecting 4 BDO World titles in just 8 years. Each win sent shockwaves through a sport long dominated by English legends. In 2007, he took the biggest gamble of his career, switching to the PDC circuit. The risk paid off instantly, facing Phil Taylor, the undisputed king of darts, in a final that went to sudden death. Van Barneveld landed the winning double to claim the PDC World Championship. The crowd exploded. Raymond had become a 5-time world champion, a national hero in the Netherlands, and a global ambassador for the sport. Over the next decade, he added the 2014 Premier League crown, the Grand Slam title, 2 UK Opens, and more than 30 major titles. But every trophy came with a price. For 30 years, he lived out of a suitcase, traveling more than 300 days a year. Airports, hotels, and packed arenas became home, while birthdays and family dinners slipped by on the calendar. As his legend grew, so did the distance from the life he left behind. April 23rd, 2018. In The Hague, 3 men forced their way into Raymond van Barneveld's family home. His wife Sylvia opened the door to find a loaded gun pointed at her head. She fought back, managed to escape, but not without bruises and a trauma that would linger long after the police left. At that moment, Raymond was over 200 miles away in Barnsley, England, playing an exhibition match for a few £100. The distance wasn't just measured in miles. For 30 years, darts had taken him from one city to the next, chasing trophies while the people he loved faced dangers he couldn't prevent. He learned about the robbery by phone, powerless to help. The guilt hit harder than any defeat on stage. He would say again and again, "My wife had a loaded gun pointed at her head, and I wasn't there. I've let her down." The reality of his life on the road became impossible to ignore. While he signed autographs and posed for photos, his family was left to pick up the pieces alone. The break-in didn't just shake the walls of their home, it exposed the cracks running through a marriage stretched to its limits by years of absence. For Raymond, the cost of chasing greatness had never felt so real. January 2019 brought the end of Raymond van Barneveld's 25-year marriage to Sylvia. The split left scars that went far beyond heartbreak. He lost 60% of everything he had earned over 3 decades on the circuit, a lifetime of prize money, sponsorships, and hard-won trophies taken in the stroke of a pen. By the time darts exploded with new television deals and bigger purses, most of his peak years were already behind him. His 3 children, William, Daisy, and Patty, grew up with a father who was more often in departure lounges than at home. Grandchildren visited every week, but he was rarely there to greet them, and he relied on WhatsApp pictures to bridge the distance. 4 friends died in 2018, but flights to Australia and Dubai kept him from saying goodbye in person. "Life goes too quick," he said. "They become older before you know it." The relentless travel that built his legend had quietly emptied his home. Now the financial fallout forced a new reality. He would have to keep playing, not out of passion, but out of necessity. On March 28, 2019 in Rotterdam, Raymond van Barneveld faced Michael van Gerwen in front of a home crowd. The match ended in a 7-1 defeat, one of the heaviest losses of his career. The arena was electric, but Raymond looked hollow as he shook hands and walked off the stage. Minutes later, in front of cameras and reporters, he announced he was done. He said he did not want the pain anymore. He said it was good that everyone loved him, but they did not have a single clue what he was going through. His voice cracked. For the first time, he admitted he had been in therapy since January, fighting depression brought on by endless travel and the grind of weekly matches. He spoke about the monotony, the loneliness, the feeling that his head was somewhere else 9 times out of 10. Stress had stripped 35 kilograms from his frame. He barely recognized himself in the mirror. Less than 24 hours later, he reversed his decision, promising to finish his career at the next World Championship. Have you ever felt trapped in a job that was destroying your mental health but couldn't leave because you needed the money? Share your story below. This is a safe space. Your experience matters. December 14th, 2019. Alexandra Palace was packed for what was meant to be Raymond van Barneveld's swan song, a farewell on the biggest stage in darts. Instead, he faced Darren Young, an American outsider who had never beaten him. The match unraveled quickly. Raymond took the first set, but confidence faded, and by the third set, the crowd grew restless. Then came the moment that would haunt him. 5 darts for the match, each one missed. The tension in the arena was suffocating. Young seized his chance and closed out the upset, 3-1. Raymond's head dropped. He barely made it through the Sky Sports interview, voice shaking as he said, "I'll never forgive myself. The demons won again. I felt like the whole world was laughing at me." The defeat was more than a loss on the scoreboard. It was the collapse of a career, the weight of every sacrifice crashing down at once. In January 2020, Raymond van Barneveld retired from professional darts, not with a victory lap, but in silence and regret. Julia Evans met Raymond at his lowest, just after his silent retirement. She was 18 years younger, British, and she saw past the trophies to the man struggling underneath. Through the winter of 2019, she became his anchor. On New Year's Day, Raymond promised her and himself that things would change. By September 2020, he announced a comeback, driven as much by financial need as by a desire to prove he could still compete. In February 2021, at age 53, he fought through Q School to win back his tour card. Only weeks later, he lifted the Players' Championship trophy in Bolton, beating Joe Cullen for his first title in 7 years. Julia was by his side, not just as a partner, but as his assistant manager. In February 2022, he proposed to her in Paris. They married in Cyprus the following year, determined to build something lasting outside the glare of the ocean. At 57, Raymond van Barneveld is still chasing ranking points on a tour that seems built for younger men. His name once meant fear at the Oche, but now he is fighting just to stay inside the top 50. Matches against rising stars like Luke Littler and Luke Humphreys are reminders of how much the game has changed. He feels it in his body every day. "It's all becoming a bit too much. I've been doing this 40 years. Mind is willing but body doesn't follow," he admitted in May 2025. He was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2009, and that illness makes travel even harder. High blood sugar blurs his vision, and long flights wreck his routine. December 2025 brought his 30th World Championship appearance, but he left in the second round, beaten by Nick Kenny. The grind never lets up. The tour demands everything, and Raymond is still paying the price, year after year. Today, professional darts still demands relentless sacrifice. Players spend over 300 days away from home each year, even as mental health crises rise. Success can cost more than anyone sees. Until the system changes, Champions pay with their lives off stage. If this resonates with you, share your story below. You're not alone.